Or if you haven't filled out that pledge card, please do so and support our wonderful candidates. Next, let's welcome to the stage Congresswoman Emily Randall of Washington.
Hello! I'm glad you all got a chance to get up and move around a little bit, to dig into your pockets and give generously to this incredible organization. I'm Emily Randall, the Congresswoman from Washington State's 6th District. And when I was growing up in my district, in a small town on the Kitsap Peninsula, I didn't have a lot of models for life outside my small town. No one in my family had gone to college. No one I knew had sought elected office. No one in my family was gay that we talked about. And we didn't have a public pride celebration in my community for fear of violence and protest. But I did have models for love and resilience. My Chicano grandpa, who joined the Marines at 17 and survived heavy combat in the Korean War, moved his family from Ogden, Utah to Washington because they were facing workplace and housing discrimination. And he wanted a better place to raise his kids and grandkids. And my abuela, who worked as a hospital housekeeper, moonlighted as an interpreter because Spanish-speaking patients weren't at that time entitled to interpreter services when they went to the hospital. My Republican religious dad, who dealt with being one of the only brown kids in his high school by being a flirt and a ham and really good at football. Because he didn't have a college degree and watched folks be promoted ahead of him, he dealt with that by cooking breakfasts for his colleagues in their office, hosting wrist nights, and leading their department's charity fundraising efforts. My mom, another example of love and resilience, whose third pregnancy brought heartbreak when one twin died in utero, and joy when my sister survived, and 19 years of caretaking and advocacy when Olivia's complex disabilities required complex care. I didn't have examples of running for office and never contemplated doing so until I was working at the San Francisco AIDS Foundation, where I was surrounded by stories and examples not only of resilience of our community, but of queer leadership. I finally made the decision to run on election night 2016 because I knew from these examples of LGBTQ leadership that our community had the love and resilience necessary to be a part of fighting back. I knew that we had to take care of our neighbors, to protect them and fight alongside them to prevent the worst actions of Donald Trump's first term. But as I started talking to politicos in the know in Washington state politics, I heard that while I was smart and well-prepared, I might not be the right profile of candidate. As a queer Latina woman who worked in LGBTQ healthcare and Planned Parenthood, I might not fit the district I grew up in. But because I attended a Victory Institute candidate training, I knew they were wrong. I knew that my connection to my community and my district and my field and my fundraising plans were far more important than the barriers they saw for me based on my identity. I also knew that my identity would help me win. Because as a queer Latina woman who grew up in a rural district, I knew that it wasn't just a weakness, but it was a strength, knowing what it felt like to be other, outside, or decentered. I knew what it meant to be able to build bridges across differences, to talk to folks who didn't share my identity, to build relationships and strengthen our community. And I knew uniquely what the Trump administration planned to do to people like us and how we could prepare in Washington State to fight back. With the skills I learned at the Victory Institute, the network of Victory-affiliated supporters who invested in my race, and the support and endorsement of the Victory Fund, I won that race, flipping a district from red to blue, expanding the Democratic majority in the Washington State Senate, and paving the way to pass some of the strongest protections for LGBTQ folks, for abortion rights, for the environment, and for education over the next 6 years. And when I had the chance to run for Congress in the fall of 2023, I heard again that I might not be the right profile of candidate for the district. But I had learned my lesson and once again could count on the support of the Victory Fund, from Victory Fund board members, and from incredible LGBTQ advocates across the country who believed in my leadership and knew that our US Congress would be stronger with more voices like ours at the table. I won again. And made history as the first woman to represent my district, the first LGBTQ member of Congress from Washington State, and the country's first ever Latina LGBTQ Congress member. Like Sarah said, this is not the first term that I imagined for myself, but because of my unique identity, because of the strength of the LGBTQ caucus and the candidates you have supported, we are uniquely positioned to fight back against the attacks on our people. We also know what it means to build connections and resilience and love in our communities. And so not only are we using the tools that we have in Congress here in DC, but we are out hosting town halls, talking to neighbors, strengthening those ties and lifting up the stories of the leadership in our city halls, in our indivisible clubs, in classrooms where educators are leading the way, and connecting with the students, including many pride clubs that I've had a chance to visit at junior highs across the district, where young queer kids are hearing mixed messages about what kind of future they have. They have a president who is trying to erase them. But they have glass ceiling breakers like me and like Sarah McBride who are showing them that they can be anything they want to be. Electing LGBTQ leaders doesn't immediately fix the problems that we're facing, but we have to be part of the solution. And I know that when we, and all of you in this room, and the Victory Fund help elect even more LGBTQ candidates in 2026, we will also take back the House and be the check that we deserve on this presidential administration. I mentioned those local candidates, those local elected officials who are giving us hope and resiliency around the country, and I'm honored to welcome some of those incredible leaders here today. Please welcome Eagle Pass, Texas Councilmember Elias Diaz, Georgia State Representative Sam Park, and Iowa State Representative Amy Wichtendahl. Thank you.